Attraction does not disappear loudly. There is no argument, no betrayal, no dramatic ending. It dies quietly, in a moment so subtle most men miss it completely. 1 second you are being watched, felt, measured. The next, you are tolerated. And the tragedy is not that attraction died. It is that you kept behaving as if it was still alive. That delay is where everything collapses. The exact moment attraction dies is not when you say the wrong thing. It is when you begin adjusting yourself in real time. When you sense tension and rush to smooth it. When you feel distance and move closer instead of holding your ground. Attraction requires space. The moment you try to manage it, it turns against you. Even Machiavelli would never chase loyalty that needed reassurance. Most men believe attraction fades because of looks, money, or competition. That belief is comforting because it gives them something external to blame. The truth is colder. Attraction fades the moment your presence stops creating pressure. When your words no longer carry consequence. When your attention becomes predictable. Desire feeds on uncertainty, not availability. Watch how it happens. You begin explaining yourself when no explanation was requested. You respond faster than necessary. You soften your tone to avoid discomfort. You start checking reactions instead of setting them. In that instant, power shifts. Not dramatically, silently. The other person feels it before they can articulate it. Attraction is not built on effort. It is built on tension. The ability to remain still when others expect movement. To allow silence to do the work. To resist the impulse to fix what was never broken. The moment you become emotionally efficient, attraction starves. Efficiency kills mystery. This is why nice men are often confused. They did everything right. They listened. They supported. They showed consistency. And yet, something evaporated. What they do not understand is that attraction does not reward reliability first. It tests containment. Can you hold your position when desire is uncertain? Can you stay grounded when approval is not guaranteed? Can you remain unchanged when someone pulls away? Machiavellian insight was never about cruelty. It was about leverage. Attraction is leverage at the psychological level. The moment you give it away by over-investing, by revealing emotional dependence, by signaling that loss would destabilize you, attraction detects weakness and retreats. Not out of malice, out of instinct. The most dangerous part is how invisible this shift feels while it happens. You think you are building connection when you are dissolving polarity. You think you are being open when you are becoming readable. And what can be fully read no longer needs to be pursued. The moment attraction died, you did not notice because nothing ended. Communication continued. Interaction remained. But the weight was gone. After that noise. Attraction does not disappear in a dramatic moment. It erodes quietly, through decisions that feel harmless while they are being made. It fades when you trade tension for reassurance, when you explain instead of letting silence do its work, when you try to be understood rather than felt. The shift is subtle, almost invisible, but once it happens, the dynamic never returns to what it was. Desire is not logical. It does not reward consistency or emotional availability. It responds to pressure, uncertainty, and controlled distance. Most men believe attraction dies because of external changes. Time, routine, stress. That is comforting because it removes responsibility. The truth is less forgiving. Attraction dies when your behavior becomes easy to read, when your reactions arrive on schedule, when your presence stops creating any emotional cost. The moment someone feels they fully have you without risk or effort, their nervous system relaxes, and relaxed systems do not chase. Notice how the tone changes when attraction weakens. Conversations stretch longer but feel thinner. Words increase while impact shrinks. You begin filling space that was once charged. You ask questions you already know the answers to. You seek clarity where ambiguity once created pull. None of this feels like loss in the moment. It feels like connection. That is why it works so well against you. Attraction requires a sense of movement. Not chaos, not games, but the feeling that something is not fully possessed. When you remove that, when you stabilize too quickly, you signal that the pursuit phase is over. Machiavelli would never confuse accessibility with influence. Power, even in intimacy, relies on the ability to withhold without hostility, to be present without being consumed. Another mistake men make is assuming attraction grows through emotional exposure. They reveal more, explain more, confess more, believing vulnerability will restore what was lost. But attraction is not built through emotional transparency alone. It is built through self-containment, through the sense that you are grounded in yourself, not leaning on the other person for balance. When your emotions start orienting around their reactions, attraction collapses under its own weight. You can feel this shift physically. The way responses slow, the way eye contact changes, the way enthusiasm becomes polite. This is not cruelty. It is a biological response to lowered tension. Once someone no longer has to wonder about you, they stop imagining you. And imagination is where attraction lives. The moment attraction died was not when interest vanished. It was when mystery did. Attraction rarely disappears all at once. It erodes quietly, through decisions that feel harmless in isolation. The moment you begin prioritizing comfort over polarity, something shifts. You start smoothing your tone, adjusting your timing, explaining intentions that never needed explanation. What once felt charged becomes predictable, and predictability is where attraction suffocates. Not because the other person changed, but because you did. Slowly, in ways you convinced yourself were mature. Most men think attraction is sustained through consistency and reassurance. That belief alone signals the loss. Desire does not grow in environments where everything is clarified. It feeds on tension, on the slight uncertainty of not being fully accessible. The instant you make yourself emotionally available on demand, you remove the edge that kept interest alive. Even Machiavelli would never advise revealing structure before leverage is secured. Exposure without pressure dissolves authority. Watch the subtle behaviors. You respond faster than necessary. You seek alignment instead of contrast. You begin negotiating instead of deciding. Each act signals the same thing, that you are more invested in maintaining harmony than maintaining position. Attraction does not respect harmony. It responds to direction. When direction disappears, so does desire. The dangerous part is that none of this feels weak in the moment. It feels considerate, attentive. You tell yourself you are being honest, when in reality you are becoming transparent. Mystery is not deception. It is containment. Once everything about you is accessible, there is nothing left to pursue. Curiosity collapses when answers arrive unasked. There is also a physical shift. Your body language softens. Your movements lose intention. You angle yourself toward approval instead of space. The other person senses this before they understand it. Attraction operates faster than thought. By the time logic catches up, the verdict is already in. The energy is gone and no conversation will bring it back. This is where most men panic. They try to fix attraction with effort, more attention, more presence, more emotional labor. But attraction is not revived through addition. It is restored through subtraction. Removing the behaviors that signal need, removing the urgency, removing the impulse to stabilize what should remain unstable. Power in this context is not dominance. It is self-containment. The ability to remain composed when outcomes are uncertain. The refusal to chase clarity. The comfort with letting silence speak. When you stop reaching to be felt, the space between you becomes charged again. Attraction died the moment you stopped allowing that space to exist. Not because you were insufficient, but because you made yourself too easy to place. And once you are placed, you are no longer pursued. Attraction does not disappear when you do something wrong. That belief comforts people because it suggests a fix. It suggests correction, apology, adjustment. The truth is colder. Attraction dies when nothing changes anymore. When your reactions become familiar. When your presence stops shifting the emotional temperature of the room. When the other person no longer has to read you carefully. The moment you become fully readable, the tension collapses. And without tension, attraction has nothing to grip. Look closely at when things started to decay. Not the argument, not the distance, the earlier moment. The moment you began explaining yourself without being asked. The moment you started smoothing your edges to keep things calm. The moment you chose stability over polarity. You thought you were protecting the connection. You were actually neutralizing it. Attraction feeds on asymmetry, on the sense that the other person cannot fully predict you, cannot fully access you, cannot fully control the frame. When you start offering emotional transparency as a peace offering, you remove that asymmetry. You think closeness creates desire. In reality, over-availability dissolves it. Even Machiavelli would never confuse access with influence. Power loses its effect the moment it becomes freely obtainable. Notice how attraction fades quietly. There is no announcement, no confrontation, just a subtle shift in how they look at you. The eyes linger less, the pauses disappear, the tone flattens. You are still there, but the gravity is gone. You become emotionally convenient, and convenience has never produced desire. Most men misread this stage. They feel the distance and move closer. They sense withdrawal and offer reassurance. They detect uncertainty and explain more. Each move feels logical. Each move accelerates the loss. Attraction does not respond to pursuit. It responds to self-containment, to someone who does not rush to stabilize emotional weather. The most dangerous belief is that attraction can be negotiated, that if you communicate better, compromise more, or show deeper understanding, desire will return. Desire does not negotiate, it observes. It responds to posture, not intention. The posture of someone who remains whole, even when connection is uncertain. Someone who does not collapse inward when validation is delayed. When attraction dies, it is because the frame shifted. You moved from being a presence to being a process, from being felt to being managed. Once that shift occurs, effort no longer helps. Effort confirms the new position. The more you try to restore what was, the more you signal that you need it back. And need is the final confirmation that the balance is gone. Attraction survives only where there is restraint, where not everything is said, where not every feeling is shared, where silence is allowed to do its work. The moment you removed that restraint, attraction didn't argue. It simply left. Attraction does not disappear in a dramatic moment. It erodes quietly through repetition, availability, and the slow removal of uncertainty. The day attraction dies is rarely remembered because nothing obvious breaks. You are still there. You still care. You still show up. And that is precisely the problem. What was once felt now becomes assumed. What is assumed no longer pulls. It sits. It waits. It decays. Attraction feeds on tension, not effort. Most men confuse consistency with value. They believe showing up reliably makes them irreplaceable. In reality, it makes them predictable, and predictability neutralizes desire. The mind stops leaning forward when it already knows the outcome. Mystery fades, not because you revealed too much, but because you revealed yourself too easily, too often, without cost. Notice how attraction changes the moment you start managing emotions instead of expressing truth. When you soften statements to avoid conflict. When you explain intentions instead of letting actions speak. When you stay available, even when your instincts tell you to pull back. Each adjustment feels minor. Each one feels reasonable. Together, they dismantle polarity. Machiavelli would never mistake accommodation for strength. Power does not chase harmony, it creates gravity. Attraction also dies when your presence loses contrast. When you are always accessible, always agreeable, always ready. Desire requires the risk of loss, not manipulation, not games, but the genuine possibility that you could withdraw your attention without collapse. When that risk disappears, attention stops feeling valuable. It becomes background noise. Most men think attraction is sustained through reassurance. It is not. Reassurance comforts. Comfort settles. Settling kills spark. Attraction survives through emotional sharpness, through the sense that you are not fully possessed, that you are choosing, not clinging. The moment your energy shifts from invitation to insurance, attraction begins its exit. Watch the subtle signals. Responses come slower. Eye contact shortens. Touch becomes habitual instead of intentional. These are not signs of boredom. They are signs of saturation. Too much access has diluted impact. The frame has softened. The edge is gone. This is not about being cold. It is about being solid. About holding your own rhythm without chasing alignment. About letting silence exist without filling it. About allowing distance to recalibrate desire instead of fearing it. Attraction respects what does not dissolve under proximity. If attraction died, it was not taken from you. You traded it away piece by piece in exchange for certainty, comfort, and emotional safety. And the trade felt fair, until it wasn't. Attraction does not return the way it left. That is the mistake most men make at the end. They believe they can restore it by doing more, explaining better, caring louder, proving sincerity. But attraction never responds to effort. It responds to positioning. The moment it dies, the frame has already shifted. And frames do not move because you wish them to. They move only when pressure is reapplied from a different angle. By now you should understand something uncomfortable. You did not lose attraction because you lacked value. You lost it because you leaked it. Slowly, politely, predictably. Every time you chose reassurance over mystery. Every time you clarified instead of allowing doubt. Every time you stayed when leaving would have preserved tension. Attraction suffocates under certainty. It fades when nothing is at risk. Machiavelli would never advise repairing desire through transparency. Desire is not a contract, it is a response. And responses are shaped by what is withheld as much as by what is offered. The moment you made yourself fully available, fully readable, fully safe, you removed the very condition attraction feeds on. Uncertainty, distance, gravity. This is why chasing never works. Chasing confirms hierarchy. It announces that you are reacting, not choosing. Attraction moves toward what stands still under pressure, toward what does not flinch when misunderstood, toward what does not rush to close emotional distance out of fear. Power remains attractive because it does not explain itself. Most men hear this and immediately think about tactics, what to say, when to pull back, how long to wait. That thinking already misses the point. Attraction is not manipulated through tricks. It is rebuilt through subtraction. through removing the behaviors that made you easy to place, easy to predict, easy to forget. Silence is not the absence of action. It is action that forces others to feel. Distance is not punishment, it is recalibration. Restraint is not weakness, it is signal. When you stop leaking yourself into every moment, people are forced to come toward you to access anything at all. And here is the final truth. Attraction does not come back because you want it. It returns only when your presence creates tension again, when your absence is felt, when your attention is no longer guaranteed, when your choices are no longer organized around being chosen. If attraction died, let it stay dead. Do not resurrect it through desperation. Bury the version of you that needed to be felt, needed to be confirmed, needed to be understood. Build the version that does not explain its value, that does not rush connection, that does not dissolve under observation. The world adjusts to what refuses to bend. Start there.